Hi, Surfer. How are you?
Good. How are you doing, Nick?
Good. Long time no see.
I know we need to do a few more of these. I think it's been we've had some crazy schedules lately. We've had to work through,
I
but
know. It's been very
hopefully we'll.
busy.
Yeah, it
And
has
this is a
been. So
little bit of a
hopefully we'll get a
time
little more
change.
consistent.
This is
Yeah,
a little bit of a time change for us too.
yeah. It's a new time, you guys. You'll have to tell us what you think about this time.
Yeah. So what you been up to?
So I've been doing all kinds of stuff. One, we'll show these off in a little bit, but I received a big shipment of these things.
So did I. We're gonna have to do something as a giveaway.
I know
And
there's a lot of them here.
there's a lot of boxes, but they're very cool and they make great storage boxes.
They do. They make great storage boxes. So we have those. I for those of you that are members of my channel, I had an issue with getting my address verified. So finally that showed up now today. So I can get that verified, but it basically put all that stuff on hold if anybody was wondering. But I've been trying to get basically just some stuff up to date. We had spring break and I cleaned out my garage and
Oh,
got that
nice.
ready. So I'm excited about that. And honestly, a lot of things are just getting ready for the kind of crazy stuff that's going on. I've been buying some silver. I've been selling some silver, and really just getting my household in order. How about you?
Same. There's been a lot going on, a lot of things that we're thinking about, and I think we're going to bring a couple of those points here tonight. And let's welcome our guests first, because I actually got something today too that I wanted
Nick is
to ask
prepped.
you.
I see. This is good.
See if you have heard about this right here, and we'll see.
Yeah, let's talk about it.
My husband was reading it. I was reading it today, and I got it on very good information. So from somebody today at work, and asked me if I had heard about it. And I'd heard a little bit about it, but not much. But it will affect the banking industry. So hi, Neil and Eagle Steve. Good to see you. And Jack Galman. And we have a celebrity in the house, Yankee Stacking.
Welcome, Yankee.
And Daniel and Robert, I'll let you go. You can start with OC.
You want me to do OC?
Hi,
we've got OC Stacker in the house here.
Mac Jones isn't my problem anymore, so I don't have any beef with OC.
You don't have to worry about it. That's good.
No.
We've got Craig in the house as well, and Michael Stacking and Magnum Pap, or Pap, I should say, is in the house, and Chew, and Pete Clark. Pete Clark's logo there always reminds me of I forget, the Iron Giant. I think my 20-year-old loved that when he was a little kid.
I don't know what that is.
It was a cartoon show. He watched it over and over and over. Kind of like an Art Deco robot from like the 30s or whatever.
But, oh yeah, I'm not.
And then we've got JMac 115A as opposed to JMac 115B. We don't know who that one is.
Well, A is always better than B, right?
A is always better than B. And then we have Della Marvelous Digging. I need to know what's behind that name. That's
a great name.
And then we've got Rich Mart 1955. I think we already called out Eagle Steve. We've got 365 Days of Silver coming in from the UK.
Oh, wow.
So I don't even know what time it is there, but it's got to be pretty late for you. So thank you for dialing in. Jack Galman as well. Amy Harrell.
David. Don't miss David. Good to see you.
David. And then we've got Kevin as well, too.
And Reformed Bear.
Interesting.
Yeah.
What happened?
Sunny.
That bear was bad at one time.
And Metal Dragon. Good to see you. Josh.
We've got N Marsh. Yeah, we got Josh Arletta. Sand Digger, welcome. And Lynn Turner. So welcome, guys, for coming in. Just a quick thing I wanted to throw out there, Nick, real quick. For anybody that has been a member, has signed up for membership on my channel, I have a bunch of these stickers that are signed and numbered on the back, but I don't have very many people's mailing address. So if you've signed up for one of the memberships, send me an email. It's stackingsurfer@gmail.com. With your mailing address, so I can send you guys out one of these cool stickers.
Well, I'm surprised you have any stickers left, and you didn't leave them all at Tim's store.
These are special stickers.
Hey,
They're
Farm
still
Dog.
at Tim's store. But I
Okay.
don't, Nick, I might be coming back up there soon too. It looks like I'm going to be coming up at the beginning of May and maybe even the end of April.
Well, then there you go. So I'm going to stay at my sister's the night before instead of spending the night of. So that way I'll go for my sister's. I'll be already there. Then I can visit with her, and then I'll go down to Tim's. And that, hi, Mr. Doughboy, and that, and Rich Mart, and Craig. Did we say hello to Craig?
I think we did, but welcome again, Craig. Hello.
And Just a Dude.
Just a Dude.
Amy, it's always good to see you.
Guy.
So I will have to spend the night at her house before you're down there. So then I won't have to worry about getting there in her house and then down there. So
I think that's the key. For me, I haven't been able to completely convince Tim to come down to California yet. So I might need a couple more visits up there to get him.
Well, what about Yankee? Have you convinced him?
Yankie's getting closer. Yankee's getting closer. So I think we might be able to get Yankee down. And I know OC's working on the dates for us, but we're going to see if we can get Nick to come out for the Long Beach Coin Show.
And it's possible because I'll be off the summer. So, anything's possible. I wonder if Metal Dragon has been to Tim's store. He's in New Hampshire.
Yeah, Metal Dragon, let us know if you've been out.
Yeah. I probably will take a trip down there because I'll be at my sister's here in the next couple of weeks. So I thought I might make a surprise trip and just walk in and stand in line and see what would happen. And then I will record, see what's the ins and outs.
Then what you can do is you can figure out if Yankee lives there or not. We don't know.
Oh, he may live, maybe, but I wouldn't record Yankee because I wouldn't do that. But
yeah,
if it was a Tiger Stacker, then maybe I would, I would record. And then me and Tim would be recording buddies. And we'll see how that goes. So
funny. So one quick shout out I wanted to do real quick. OC, if you could put in Nick's link. We're trying to help Nick get monetized, guys, and we need to get her some more view hours. So for those of you that are in my chat, one of the reasons we're dual streaming is so that people in my channel will get notified and you guys will be able to come and join the chat in the live stream today. But if you can, migrate over to Nick's. We want to help boost her and help her grow her channel. So OC is going to put the link in there. It's in there now. If you click on that link, it'll take you right over to the same stream just on her channel, and it'll help her be able to grow that a little bit more. Plus, you guys will be able to see more of the comments.
We are on early tonight. We are on early tonight, so Silver Wolverine didn't have to drink like a bottle of coffee or a whole pot of coffee tonight.
There you go.
So you've been everywhere. You've been growing like wildfire, which is great because you got a great channel. So, and you've been to New Hampshire. So tell us what else has been going on, because I can't even keep up.
Okay, so I've just passed my anniversary, my first year of doing a YouTube channel. And, I had several people in the community tell me that I should do this and put it together. And, it's funny because, Nick, I was trying to hide myself. I was trying to make sure that no one knew my name, my mailing address. They didn't know where I lived. And
that didn't last long.
It didn't last long. And I got an expensive trust, and I don't own anything. Everything, this shirt is owned by my trust. So I own nothing. These stickers are owned by the trust until they come to your house. Then they're owned by you.
And Jack, I have been late getting your mail out, but it is coming. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, Surfer. But he said he didn't get a sticker, and it is coming. I promise. I've been working more hours, and when I get home, the post office is closed because they close at 4:15. So I will get that out shortly, at least by this weekend.
Yeah, that'd be great to get those out. So really for me, it's been, I'm having fun with the channel and I'm trying to grow it as much as I can. And when I see an opportunity, I like to take them. So Andy Scheck, I'm going to put a quick shout out. At 2:00 Eastern on Monday, this coming Monday, we'll have a live stream with Andy Scheckman. He doesn't do those very often. I've actually never seen a live stream with him. So one thing I will be doing is sending a message out to the community to get questions in from you guys. But Monday at
get your
2
questions
Eastern.
in advance with this
Yes.
live stream, because it'll be very helpful for Surfer, and you'd be more out to get your questions answered. And it is tax day, so come with all your questions. Tax day.
So hopefully you'll have your questions on tax. We're also going to talk a little bit about what's happening with the silver surge. Why is silver and gold going up when it should be going down, when there's concerns about inflation coming in? There's going to be some new things that we're going to be discussing there. But you know, I saw that Andy Schectman was going to be presenting at the Silver Symposium about a year ago. And I'm like, I need to go meet this guy. I'm going to go, you know, check him out. I guess it wasn't quite a year ago. I think it was like October. So I got a ticket. I flew out to Las Vegas, got myself a hotel, and I got to meet Andy. And he was such a cool guy. I got to meet his wife, and we spent an hour talking. And that's really where I had the opportunity of basically being able to have him come on my show on a regular basis. And the last video, Nick, it's freaked me out. It blew my mind. It's over 50,000 views now, which is crazy. So you guys you must like Andy a lot too, like I do, which has been fun. And then I had an opportunity when I'm up in Boston, where my company's located, to just grab a rental car and go up and visit Yankee and Tim a couple times. So it's been fun doing that. And for those of you that have channels, these are the kind of things that if you're wanting to grow it faster and you have the means to do it, don't kill yourself trying to do these things. If the opportunity presents itself, they're great opportunities to collaborate with people and to find new connections and new, you know, ways to bring people and kind of mix up your channel a little bit. But it's much harder if you just try to call like Andy Schectman's office and say, hey, I want to do a YouTube channel. It's much easier if you can build a relationship and rapport first. And I already knew Yankee. He's been a mentor of mine while we've been doing this. But then I started meeting people like Mike that you've met, Nick, on our live stream a while back. I met him at the Long Beach Coin Show. I also met Sean Rich, who did the pirate coins, if you guys have seen my video on pirate coins. So I met him at the Long Beach Coin Show, and we were able to do some really cool videos there. And that, I think, is going to lead to a free booth for us. So, Nick, if you've got things you want to sell, as soon as I have that confirmed, you can bring things out with you if you want to sell at the
I might. Show. I just might. And we have another celebrity in the chat, Randy Matthews. Good to see you.
Randy Matthews, welcome. So that's kind of what I've been up to, is meeting a lot of people, creating a lot of content, and then Ted. So a lot of you've probably seen Ted on my videos recently. We've definitely had Ted on. It's been great. I've enjoyed having him on there. It has brought in some controversy, which did cause some health issues for me.
You're still recovering, but
I'm still recovering from a little bit of the whiplash of just the whole situation and everything that went down. But there's a lot of good messages that Ted has. So I'm hoping to have him on again someday in the future here. We need to work on kind of the format and how we may do it.
Because I'm sure the community has a lot of questions for him as well, and maybe in a format to where they could, you know, send in their questions beforehand would be very helpful.
So I'm hoping to get a hold of Ted later tomorrow. My other issue is he is an early riser and an early to bed guy, and it's, you know,
is he on the East Coast or your West Coast?
He's on the East Coast. I'm usually messaging with him when he wakes up right before I go to bed.
Yeah, the time difference is he's early, you know, to bed. So
I'm messaging with him at 1 a.m. when I'm going to bed, and he's just getting up. So we need to get connected on some of that stuff. But you know, one of the things that I'm looking at in the future of the channel too is I want to bring more and more ideas and more like thoughts. So I'm all about freedom of speech. I'm about, you know, trying to get information out there. We don't want misinformation. We don't want heavy, you know, to get into heavy conspiracy theory stuff. There's always some of those questions we might have. But there's so much that's going on right now in the market, and what could happen with banks, and what could happen with the, you know, the currency and the devaluation.
It's all speculative too. A lot of this information is speculative. It's all going on history and predictions, and it's never a fact until it happens, right?
Well, it's true. And then here's the thing, though, that's so crazy about all this stuff. If we don't talk about it, even though it may not happen, but it's a possibility of it, as long as we put it in that form of a possibility, if we don't talk about it, we would probably all be sitting there wondering if we should buy any silver or any gold.
And yes, that was one of the ones as well. So Marsh put in like tracking devices in the ASCs, and that was one of the ones too. I was like, wow. But again, that doesn't mean everything was a wow moment either.
But here's the thing: people have opinions, and so I've had to do a couple of those videos to clear it up just a little bit on an opinion versus a fact. And one of the things that I learned from that process that I didn't know is a lot of people take what they hear on YouTube to be fact without doing a lot of homework, and they run through rabbit holes pretty quickly.
And that is a problem. You should do your own due diligence. Do not listen to any YouTuber and think it's fact unless you do your own due diligence. And that is even here with us. Yeah. Do your own homework. Figure it out. Form your own opinions, your own beliefs. And we encourage that, to look up the information and if we're wrong, please let us know so we can correct that.
And even if Jerome Powell is speaking on YouTube, still do your own research, because
yes,
they say things to make certain things happen. It may not be the exact reality of what's going on. Jerome Powell can say something and change markets without moving interest rates.
Kind of like the CPI report, because we're going to be getting into that too, yes. Right? So take it with a grain of salt on some of this information, because not all information is being reported as it should. And then there's corrections down the road that will correct them. So, take that with a grain of salt as well. Hi, Mark and Papa York, Sierra, and UFO.
And then real quick, Nick, just to answer a question from Amy, my memberships have been suspended because I needed to get a verification of address, which I just got in the mail today. It kept getting stuck in Wyoming, and then it got stuck in Utah. I finally got it here. So those should be turned back on in the next day or two.
And she also had a question. When she looked for the upside down pyramid you shared with them, she cannot find it. Do you know where she can find that information?
Yeah, it's Excerpts Pyramid, and I don't always spell it right, but let me see if I think I saved it. Let me see if I can pull it up.
And somebody just put at Ted Speaks. Maybe that's on his channel. He's got a YouTube channel.
He definitely has it there too, and he does have a channel. You guys should definitely go check him out. Let's see if I can find it.
And I'm glad, Peggy, because you know what? A lot of people take whatever they're listening to as fact, and that's not always the case. A lot of it's opinion based.
A lot of stuff is, guys. So,
that's a good question for you, Surfer. When you get a second, I'll put that.
All right, I'm gonna have to figure out how to spell that right. I'll have to look that up, Nick. We'll look to see if we can find that before the stream's over. Okay, what do we have here? Next Coins asks Surfer.
Because he knows I'm reading the chat.
Why does copper and brass and other metals continue to rumble?
Hi, Richard C.
Well, you guys, I'll put it back to you. What do you guys think's going on here? So, I saw a tweet the other day, and I did not, I did save it, but it's buried in a bunch of photos now. But Jerome Powell knows it all. The information the last 3 years has been, I missed the last part, transitory. Yeah, I know exactly. So here's my thought on it, Nick. The economy is slowing down. I'm hearing of fewer people buying cars, right? People are they're buying fewer things. They're spending more money on each thing they buy. I don't know about you guys, but when I go get food outside, like say quick serve or fast food, the prices keep edging up. I'm seeing more and more stores that are using like TV screens for their menus so that they can change the prices more fast or more dynamically than just like a sign. And we still have inflation that's going on, guys. And so when the economy's slowing down, but inflation's still around, you get these weird dynamics. And then I think the other thing that's starting to happen is I believe people are starting to wake up to the fact that our monetary system is broken and that it's not real. And so one of the facts I'll point out is Costco just sold $200,000 of gold in a 30-day period. And I think it was 2 months ago, I think it was in January or February, they made a notification that they sold $100,000 of gold. So they're selling more gold than they can even list, because every time I go into a Costco, they're sold out. I know OC went by he called Orange County. So our county has 3 million people in it, Nick. I don't know how many people are in your county.
Not that.
We have 3 million. So we
don't even have 3 million people in the state of Maine, probably.
Yeah, it's a little bit more than that. We actually have more people in Orange County than the entire state of Utah.
Jeez.
And we called all the Costco's yesterday, and there was only one that had bars left. They had 3 bars. OC went and grabbed those 3 bars.
They've been into
So
selling silver as well, and I
they're
haven't
selling,
heard.
but it's always sold out when I go online. It's never available.
I
So
haven't heard great reviews on the silver though.
the reviews I'm getting from people is that the shipping is horrible. They put it in
Yeah.
like packages that get ripped and damaged.
Yeah.
So if you're looking at Costco, you really should get it out of the store, from what I'm hearing. And you can save 4% if you've got their credit card. There's some cool stuff you can do
We
with
do
that.
not promote credit, buying on credit
No, you want to pay the credit card off.
as soon as possible. Yes.
But if you use the credit card, you'll save an extra 2%. Just make
And
sure
as
you pay it
a
off.
matter of fact, what you're talking about right now with saving on credit cards and points and rewards on credit cards is exactly what I'm going to talk to you about.
Okay, so I'll finish my thought here. So what I'm seeing happen is I'm seeing a lot of people starting to worry about inflation, starting to worry about the economy, how much money's been printed. We're going to start spending more money to just service the U.S. debt than what we spend on military. And then if soon it's going to be more than we spend on Social Security. And then all of a sudden, we're just going to have to keep printing more and more money, and more inflation goes in. So people are starting to wake up to that fact. I think that's one of the reasons you're seeing gold and silver run, and not the other metals. I think the other issue, Nick, that's going on too, is the central banks keep buying more and more gold.
Mhm.
And we're starting to get through more of that supply. And my guess is they're probably upping that up. They're probably increasing their percentage of purchasing, and that's starting to affect it.
Well, have you heard of the Durbin-Marshall Act, credit card competition
No, tell us
Act?
about it.
Okay, well, it's where they want to restructure the credit card paying system to bring more competition, which would take out all your points with your credit cards. You would no longer have any points. Well, a lot of people do the credit for the points, right? But it's
If they get rid of points, I'm done with credit cards.
it's the same. They are, and it's because
I'm
of the
done
way
with them
they're
if they do
setting
that.
up their payment structures. And guess who is going to regulate it? The U.S. government.
Oh,
Because that they do everything perfect. And when the government gets involved, we know, now this is sarcastic, guys, please, that we know that it's going to be run correctly.
Okay. I don't believe you.
It's to try to bring into more competition to where it will reduce fees being paid to the credit card companies by either the store, or that's usually passed on to the consumers. But with that being said, it's going to take a lot of the benefits away from when you have a credit card, for example, your point system. Now, it is also going to take a lot of money and revenue away from some small banks, which means that could hurt them quite a bit. So yes, the point system is, a problem with some people, but again, a lot of people do have credit cards for that reason. And then the fee structure is going to be taken away from the banks. So you got twofold right there, where it's going to hurt. It could hurt the banking system. Now, my husband had heard a little bit about
Can we
this.
zoom in on your paper too as you're talking, just so people can look at it?
Well, I don't.
Or can we not show it? Maybe we can't show it.
Yes, I can show it, but this I'll just this is Congressional Research
How can they
Service.
find it? How can they find the information?
I got this from the Congressional Research Service,
Okay.
and CRS, and this is a bipartisan group, and this bipartisan group is actually showing how it could affect consumer merchants in banks. So, and if anybody wants me to scan this and they want a copy of this, and it will give you down the payment structures and what could happen. And this is also called the Durbin-Marshall Act.
Okay.
So, and my husband knew a little bit about this, but he didn't know that.
So if that goes into effect, Nick, are you saying that smaller banks could lose a revenue source?
Yes, and very much could lose a revenue source, because they're changing the fee structures, and then also it's gonna discourage people that would normally get these cards for your point-based systems and then pay it off later for that reward. So people, there's no incentives for people to sometimes have credit. A lot of people, that's not sometimes
That's true.
a lot of people do need the credit and will use it as such, but some people do use it in such a way to where they're using it as a benefit, as an incentive, and then they usually pay it off at the end of the month because they want those points to be able to buy Christmas at the end of the year. Some people can, do a lot of things at the end of the year when they're cashing in their points.
It's true. And then right now is one of those times where they like to set you up and entice you with those points, because now more and more people, I think the average household has one credit card maxed out right now is the stat. And if they happen to get you while you had plenty of money and you were paying your credit card off, and now you're starting to pay that high interest, they're starting to, get more advantage from that. Amy mentioned a good thing in here too. You can't actually really get rid of all your credit cards if you want to work in today's world. You can't rent a car with it. And if you go to a hotel and try to use a debit card, they're going to take a lot of money out. It's like $1,000 or something like that they take.
What hotels are you staying at?
It's the thing hotels do. It's like this massive fee. You never want to use a debit card at a hotel. They put this crazy block on your card.
Oh,
so there's certain things where you want to have a credit card for, but figuratively speaking, that's the main reason I have credit cards, is to get some of the extra points that are out there.
Well, it's a great incentive because, a lot of people just use that particular credit card for everything and just pay it off at the end of the month. And you can get a good chunk of change at the end of the year. And I know that's what we will save to buy Christmas gifts, because my husband does not like using credit or spending money. So,
well, I think I'm up to like 500,000 points on Marriott.
Oh, wow.
When you get something that's from travel with work, plus it's also using the credit card, that can be like 1 or 2 vacations for my family if we time it right.
Exactly. Or a flight here and there, or vacations. I've seen people use it for vacations, and no hotel fees in New Hampshire. They're outlawed.
All right. Well, go New Hampshire, not in California.
Well, you and I have talked about, freaking awesome, about New Hampshire and their no income tax. And I think it's no income tax and no sales tax. It wouldn't hurt my feelings if we went that way in my state, because we are the 4th tax state in the nation. And yes, I'm very upset about that. Because
when you come to California to the Long Beach Coin Show, I think there'll probably be 4 or 5 taxes that you'll see on the hotel bill.
Yes, well, we have that as well here in my state.
That's crazy.
But, tourism, we are the vacation land. That's our state motto. We're the vacation land. So
I don't believe it.
Yeah. Yeah. New Englanders in the chat, we are called the vacation land. And you absolutely want to come to the state during the summer months only.
In the summer, yes.
Yes, our tourism, everything, businesses that are just seasonal, they make all their money within 3 months. Except now we have people in the Bar Harbor, Maine area that is suing the town of Bar Harbor because they don't want as many cruise ships coming through.
Oh.
And where everybody would stop. It's just a port where they would stop and get bored or either get off. And I'm thinking, your parents came up here on a cruise, didn't they not?
They did. Yeah.
So it would probably be in that same port. So now, because they're already loaded and living off trust funds and leaving more trust funds in this particular area, that they're suing, saying they don't want as many.
They don't want it anymore. They
don't want it. They don't want the tourism. And that's where all the money is made within 3 months for our state. So
yeah, that one's kind of a crazy one. That we have an airport here in Orange County where the planes fly over Newport Beach.
Uh-huh.
It's a very expensive place. So anytime you fly into Orange County, you have to take off almost vertical. And then they shut the engine off low.
Ooh, I don't think I want to be in that airplane.
The ocean a little bit. The engines are still on. They're just not revved very high. And then all of a sudden it takes off more and you catch it. And then when you're coming in, they have to land by 11 o'clock at night. So it limits the airport and what they can do, because there's not as many flights that can go in and out of it, and they keep it small. So we do have some of those issues with not my backyard kind of people.
Yeah, well, we're very, 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 and Papa York is in my area. We're very small. Even our airport up this way is small.
Yeah, no, he's a medium climb. There you go. So Nick, I want to ask everybody, do you guys put a 1 in if you have credit cards and you pay them off every month? I'm curious. put a 2 in if you have credit cards, but you're having to carry a balance right now because everything is so stinking high.
I have to say, at this time of night right now, though, my husband has offered to make supper, and it smells so good. Good. I rushed home. I got off work at 2:30, and then I was on another stream from 3 to 5. Then I went and had a snack. I had an apple and peanut butter, and then he was starting supper. So now I can just start. The fragrance is so good. Hi, Grade 8.
All right, Nicholas. So let's look at that. Sounds good, by the way. I just had lunch a few minutes ago. So
Atari Legend. Back in the day was an Atari Legend. Let me tell you.
So Atari Legend. I want to hear. Are you a massive Atari fan? Excuse me. Because if you are, I've got a quick story for you. All right, so we've got a lot of 1s, which is good. People are paying the credit cards off. We've got a couple with 2s. You guys, I've been there before.
Just a debit card here. Debit cards also have points in a system,
they can.
So when I say credit cards, I'm talking about debit cards as well, because there is a fee structure when it comes to debit cards, because you see on your card, it says it may not be a credit card per se, but it says Visa, MasterCard. It's still put out by a company. And what they're talking about is like the companies, you have to rent their machines, the credit card machines that you slide your card through. And then there's fees that are associated with every purchase made. And I know some small stores up here won't let us use those because it costs them too much to have that system in their, in their establishment. So, like, have you ever gone to a convenience?
To have the revenue streams, a smaller bank needs different ways of doing things. They don't charge huge fees. They try to, take care of the customer, and the margins can be smaller.
Now, so my husband's bank, the way they're structuring their stuff now is where they're going to be starting to do everything in house, and they're kind of like putting a fence around. So, and they're going to actually be hired out to do some of that work as well. So they're structuring, they're insulating themselves to be able to do business on a whole nother level within the banking industry. So that's going to help as well.
That makes a lot of sense. So going back to Atari real quick, I just wanted to say my father-in-law was best friends with Nolan Bushnell that started Atari and was offered to be the first investor for $500. And he didn't have it because he was a poor college student. It's like his biggest regret out there. So that's my Atari story.
Yeah. But when it came to Atari, if I watched the history on it, and I mean, it was a no-go for a little while until
maybe he wouldn't have made any money from it because
I'm sure he would have, but at first
they call it a down round. Sometimes you get in early to something and they have to take so much more money to keep it going that you divest everybody that started off with it. It just depends. Safety
meeting. So we have a fake deputy in the chat.
Uh-oh. He's here again.
He's always welcome. But
I think he's watching every time, Nick. He just doesn't come in all the time. It's only when the badge comes out.
Because Nick, the law.
Let me ask you, what's going on with gold and silver right now? And how is that going to affect banks?
It's going up.
So I'm going to pull up the prices real quick so we can look at it. Look at this.
Wow. I mean, the prices
that is a breakout to me. All-time highs now, and there isn't any resistance up there. This can just keep running.
It can, but will it? That's my question. Will it? And when something's too good to be true, there's going to be some corrections in the market.
You want corrections. If something, everything in the market's like a rubber band. If it gets stretched too far, it'll snap back and it'll hit you and it'll hurt. So if we went all the way up to $3,000 right now and it never really pulled back, it could crash back down to 2,000.
Right, but it's not like I'm running out buying a lot of gold either.
No.
Or a lot of silver right now at these prices. And I've reined it in a little bit, but I'm still staying consistent and still purchasing a little bit, but just not nearly as much as I had. And a lot of it is, again, I'm sorry, but it's not bullion companies. It's my local auction lately.
Yep.
And there's four.
Nick has found a great auction place. We're going to have to figure out.
But maybe we need to do one of these nights where I show how I go in and I find all of these awesome auctions.
That would be great. You guys put a 5 in if you have interest in learning Nick's tips for finding auctions and getting coins at great prices.
But again, it's something you have to be diligent at, because it's not, they don't last long. When you find a honey hole, you better get on it, because within a couple weeks, other people are going to do the same. They're going to find it.
So I'm carrying this around with me right now.
Oh, nice.
Because there's a guy doing work in my house and it was on my desk. It needs to go. I don't know why it's not in the safe. It needs to go in the safe. But anyway, this one right here, $1,900, a $20.
Is that the one you? Okay, so
this is the
did
one.
you have your Did you have, what's his name, Mike?
Not yet. I haven't made it over there to have him look at it. But for $1,900, I'm feeling really good about this purchase right now. Anyway, so when you can find a deal, you guys find deals, pick them up.
Yes.
I have been selling bars right now and buying more eagles and rounds.
So you're selling your silver bars.
So I'm selling my 100-ounce bars. I sold my last 200-ounce bars out, and I'm buying more coins. And the reason I'm doing that is I want to have smaller denominations. A 100-ounce bar can be harder to sell. Usually that's just going to be at a bullion dealer. I'm not even sure if pawn shops will take those.
Yeah, and I think it's because, I would much rather have a 1 ounce round, because again, fractional, and if I needed to use it. Hi, Cosmic Creations.
And if silver goes up in value a lot, like if it goes up to $100, $300 an ounce,
it's going to be a harder sell, right? Yeah. When somebody, I would want to buy gold. If I was going to spend that kind of money, that's what I'm going to want to buy.
Yep.
I bought gold 2 weeks ago. That is now under spot.
Now it's full of spot. So
right.
You guys, it's crazy, but expect pullbacks happening from time to time. So, what you don't want to do is FOMO. FOMO is an emotional thing. It's not a tactic.
I don't buy because of a dip, or I hope to when it dips, but I buy when I have the money to do so.
So Ed Marsh can make 100 1-ounce rounds out of 100 bars, 100-ounce bar. If you've got a crucible that can fit a 100-ounce bar in it, you could do that. But mine were Johnson Matthey. There's no way I'm melting those down. I'll trade them. But
I have a question for you, Surfer.
Yeah.
So right now, at this point, are you going to purchase crypto, gold, and silver, or?
Well, I'll show you. So let me see. I'm going to pull up a couple apps, and hopefully it doesn't show any of my private information. So
I want to know all of your private information. I'm going to sell it.
One is I use One Gold. So I've got $231 on One Gold. And if you see that percentage, do you see that percentage in the corner?
Yes.
Right here, over here.
So it's gone up 23%.
It's gone up 23% for me since I put it in there. And guess where all that money came from? Credit card rewards.
Really?
Yeah. So I've got the credit card and I got those rewards. So that's $231.92 that's free. And my credit card rewards have made 23.97%, which my Delta Sky Miles isn't doing that.
Michael Stacking is buying junk silver. I'm curious, how much are you purchasing it for dollar face? And what are you purchasing? Are you purchasing dimes, quarters, half dollars?
Yeah, we'd love to hear that. So, but to go back to your question, I've been buying XRP.
Okay.
I've been buying a little bit of Bitcoin. I've been buying, I've had Ethereum. That's been sitting around for a long time. And then I've got, I'm trying to figure out how to do Tether. That's another one someone mentioned. So for me, it's all throwaway money. I don't store my wealth into cryptos, but I'm willing to take a little bit of a bet on a few coins and see what happens.
And probably that's money that, that you would probably be okay with losing. You're not going to put a lot of money into it. It's probably something
we're not even talking 0.1% of my net worth.
Yeah.
We're talking a very small portion. Now, my advice would be to stay below 1% of your net worth in crypto. That's me personally. And for me, I like to have a higher percentage of gold and silver right now as a percentage of wealth. Like 20% is really kind of more my number in what I want to stack. And the reason for that is I think gold and silver are going to surprise us. And I think we're going to see some crazy things. I mean, my logo here is Stacking Surfer. And it's not about surfing the waves, even though it's a fun play on that. It's about surfing the gold and silver wave. So this is maybe the diamond wave, the sparkly diamond wave. But,
The
it's
glitter.
supposed to be silver. So
And I just saw the word diversify, and
yes,
we're all going to be different. We all think differently, but I think diversify. I'm not going to have all my money tied up in gold and silver. I cashed out the little bit of crypto I had, and it did well with it. But and I have mine in a little bit in stock. So I think that some people can get silver and gold
and
heavy.
I have stocks too, but my
Finance is
portfolio
different.
has shrunk on cryptos. It's shrunk on stocks. It's moved heavier into gold and silver. I still have cash. One of my goals has been paying off debt. I know there's a big philosophy out there of some kind of a debt jubilee that's going to come and people are going to be forgiven of all their debt.
Oh my gosh. And if they think that, then
I don't believe that myself. I mean, it would be great. And if it
mean,
happens, I might feel bad if I have all my stuff paid off. But at the same time, it feels good not having debt. If you can be debt free, that is a key to go for.
it's
Now,
ideal, right?
business is different, but personally, no debt is
I
the
mean,
key.
that's ideal, but some of us are still going to have a house payment.
Yep.
And some of us still carry, maybe a car payment. A lot of people are still paying off their college education. So
that's what I say to that. I did have Bitcoin at $3,000. I had several of them, and I ended up having to sell all of them, as well as my Tesla stock when it was at like $50 and my Shopify stock when it was sitting at like $28.
mhm.
So I could put a down payment on the house that you see behind me here.
Oh,
And
nice. I don't have that much. And
my house doubled, but those stocks went up 1,200%, and Bitcoin went up way higher too. But
yeah,
you do what you got to do in your situation. I can't beat myself up and say, oh my gosh, I missed out on these huge gains. I had the same thing with one of my previous employers. They gave me a ton of tech stock and I wanted to finish our backyard. And that stock ended up going up about 25x. So,
yeah, and again, because you don't know the future,
You don't know the future. If you can, you hold it. If you believe it's going to go up and it's going to be good, and you try to do your best. My father-in-law, he's been able to do well because of holding on to company stock. And he went on the more risky side of going into a lot of debt, so he never had to sell his stock. I couldn't do that when it was a house down payment. You have to use cash that you have. You can't, go borrow more money. The point here that's up here from Jason Edwards, I would say I always prefer sovereign coins over rounds, period. I think they're better looking coins. When it comes to buying, though, it really depends on the spread and the difference. So if I can buy a Silver Eagle for about $3 compared to a Silver Buffalo, I'll probably go with the Eagle. If it goes above that $3 spread, I'm usually looking at the rounds. That's my philosophy. I'd rather have the sovereign coin, but like for example, last summer when the Eagles were up at what were they, like $40 or $38?
$40. I was not buying Eagles, but when
I was
they were
not touching an Eagle, I was only buying the Buffalo rounds at like $27, $28.
Yeah, and I like the Buffalo rounds too, but I wanted as close a spot as I can get it. So if that's going to be a generic round, that's what it's going to be for that month. If I can get like the American Silver Eagles, like I was getting them at like 25, 26, just a couple dollars over spot, I'm going to be purchasing those all day long. But again,
and it depends on when you got into it too, Nick. So I got into stacking silver when the cheapest Eagle was about 27, 28.
Okay, yeah. Hi, Gunny.
So I've just barely started adding some Eagles because I want some Eagles and I haven't really had them in the past. I was stacking Maples for quite a while. I'm not a big fan of the Britannias. Mainly
I've got a couple of those. I thought they were pretty coins.
They're pretty coins, but most of mine get milk spotted, which I'm not as happy about.
Yeah.
I get much better luck with the US and the Canadian silver.
Yeah, well, the Maples before I think 2018 were real spotty. Yeah. But no, for a little while though, I was getting a lot of American Silver Eagles because of the price. But now with silver up the way it is now, I'm going to buy. Well, again, I'm at the local auctions, but I would buy it as close a spot as I can get it, because a lot of us have to worry about taxes and shipping.
We do. Charges. So what happens well, maybe we shouldn't put that out there.
I like the elephants.
Let me put it this way. I had a local friend that called me up and said, hey, my friend's trying to get rid of $130 of junk silver. And he sent me a picture and I looked at it and they looked like they were pretty much uncirculated Mercury dimes. And it was $18 per face. And this was 3 weeks ago. I went and bought the whole lot.
Oh, well, yeah, that was a great price.
And then it had a bunch of Benjamins in there, and it had Morgan and Peace dollars at $25 each, and they were not coal. So I looked at that. It was a good price. It was a good deal. Now to go back and buy more from the same person, we're now looking at closer to like, $19.50 to $20 because silver has jumped up so high.
So I told you about my last find at the local auction for quarters.
You got to remind me.
$15.50 face.
Oh, $15.50. You guys, who does this?
I get, but if you look, the deals are out there.
They are out there. So now I'm kind of hesitant with this person because I don't want to spend $20 to buy it. And I think 1980 to 20 is around there is kind of a melt, right? I also don't want to be taking someone for a ride and taking way below melt either.
Right.
So, it becomes the kind of thing that I, as a person with the channel, I feel responsible to let them know that they may be able to take it somewhere else and get that melt price. If they want to move it right now, I've got cash, but I'm only buying at this price. I can give people an option like that. I know OC's been looking at a handful of estate auctions or estate sales lately too, and he's been able to pick some things up and find some deals. So the deals are out there if you guys look for them. Great question, Yankee. Will silver hit 30 or 25 first? That one's a hard one to say for sure. I have a feeling that it's going to hit. Well, okay, let me put it this way. Once it hits 30, that is a major psychological level for us. So when it goes 30 and it starts to go above 30, I think you're going to see it start to run. Is it going to hit 15 or 30 first? I have a feeling that 25. I have a feeling it's probably going to go back down and touch 25 first.
I think it will. I mean, right before the last presidential election, everybody was talking about how it was going to hit 30 after that, after that presidential election. It never did quite hit 30. It went way back down the other way. So
I think this is going to be different though, Nick. I think the last presidential election, I don't think people understood all the money printing that had gone on to the extent.
Again, that being said, especially before this particular election, the government is going to make the dollar look stronger, even though we know it won't be. Before this presidential election, they're going to do whatever they can to show us or to convince us that the dollar is stronger. They're going to try to make the economy look better.
I don't think they're going to pull it off. I think it'll break and blow up in their face.
Of course, but
I just don't think. But to your point, here's the other issue that can come into play. If we see inflation go up again, another big jump up in inflation, there's going to be a lot of people that may be watching this or in our community. They're going to be forced to sell some of their silver holdings or gold holdings just to pay bills.
But that's being done right now.
That can lower the price down too. It is being done right now.
And yet we're still hearing from the media that inflation is down. Inflation is down. What do we keep hearing? Inflation. We know better, of course, but we keep hearing inflation's down. Inflation's down, and then when you get these CPI reports, I mean, we're not just talking about inflation with we're talking about insurance. Insurances are going up. We're talking everything across the board.
So here's another good question for you. Well, I can't pull it up, I guess. I don't have the ability to do it. Richard C had in there, I don't want to break the bubble, but where the heck you store all the metals? With silver, it gets hard to store. Safe deposit boxes are too small.
I would definitely not put it in my safety deposit box. 100% no.
Why?
Why wouldn't I put it in my safety deposit box? Well, what if the bank decides to tell me that's not my box? They also use chemicals in there. And when they're cleaning those boxes out, they use special chemicals. I would just definitely not.
What happens if the bank has a failure, a bank closure?
That's true.
Even just a branch closure. What can happen?
Even if I can't get my fingerprint to work because the computer systems are down, I wouldn't be able to get my box open because you have that two type of security where I have, my palm print and then I have to use the key. So
I definitely would never store metals into a bank's safety deposit box. I probably wouldn't put anything in there that I don't have a copy of somewhere else.
So I just have my 38 special hanging around. So if anybody wants to come steal from me, they're going to meet my 38 special. I'm sorry,
For,
but
for a minute there, Nick, I thought you were going to say you had a couple other duplicate passports, you know, $5,000 in cash. And your
no, but I do have
in the
decoy
safe deposit
silver.
box.
I do have decoy silver. And then somebody
You have
gave me
decoy
that's not
silver.
real. So I have decoy. So I'll put that hanging around. But
well, I saw there's this guy from Las Vegas. I want to see if I can interview him. He creates prop cash. I forget the name of him right now, but he creates prop cash, and then he also does these aluminum, really cool design bricks and round things that you put coins in to hold them. They're a little bit on the pricey side, so you may run like $1,000 to basically have a way to store like 100 eagles. So it's kind of a pricey thing, but anyway, he has prop cash. I was thinking about getting some of that prop cash and putting that into my decoy.
I've seen something like that on Amazon where they're actually selling it as like real cash, but it's prop cash, and it looks so close to like real stuff that people are trying to spend it, and then
So Yankee is completely right. So I have a video. When you go to my channel, the first video that pops up is my video about $1,800 gold. Actually, yeah, it's $1,800 gold and $18 silver is what I put out there. He's completely right. If they raise rates, if they raise rates, we will see the pressure will be to push gold down because it'll strengthen the dollar. It'll start to take off. So if they do that, we will see that. However, that will be them saving the dollar. If that happens, you're going to start to see banks having more problems. You're going to start to see the debt servicing become even bigger and harder to pay. They can't do it for very long. It's going to break everything. So they could do it. I still think they might do it, but I don't know that they can do very much of it. And it won't be because they want to if they do it this year, because the re-election is going to fight.
They're going to keep it. They won't. They'll leave it. They'll keep it the same right now. Whereas they probably should go up. They're going to keep it the same.
So Nick is predicting they're going to no rate changes.
I think that's a no-brainer. I mean, I don't think there will be. Not until after the presidential election.
Okay, so after the presidential election.
Of course, but they have to do something. They cannot not do anything, and like the rate should be so much higher. They should have started this a long time ago.
Is there a chance they're just going to lower the rates to try to make everything look good?
That would be worse on us than them going up if they were to drop them. It's going to be worse on the economy, and that's not something we want to see. But let me ask. I don't know if it's the same in your state. I'm sorry.
You don't want to see it. It'd be ugly.
Yeah, it really would be. I don't know if it's the same in your state, but we have what you call a housing crisis in our state, where there's not enough houses or homes for people to buy. So real estate is very high right now, no matter what the rates are. And in our state, they worried that if their interest rates did go down, we would be worse off because there's nothing for people to buy.
You would be a lot worse off. So we're stuck between a rock and a hard place. Yankee mentioned it. You mentioned it. Rates should be significantly higher. They should be in double digits. Okay. We shouldn't, last year, the interest rate should have been closer to like 12%, the Fed's fund rate.
Yep.
The problem is if they did that, they would break everything. It would put us basically into a depression. So they've had to slowly do it, but then they stopped. And I think they stopped too soon. And now you've got crypto spiking, you've got gold and silver spiking. Yeah. So if we see, if we see it change and they raise rates, look for the prices to definitely come down. What did
Heist?
Yeah, it would make inflation way worse. So
it would make it definitely. It would a lot worse.
I mean, let me ask you, Nick, if they take rates down to zero again tomorrow. What do you have the ability to do tomorrow that you don't have the ability to do today?
Nothing.
Do you have more? Do you have more money? Do you?
No.
Nothing.
No.
Could you go refinance your house? Are you at a 3% rate?
We're at a pretty
okay
low interest rate.
Let's say you bought a house last year and you're at a 6% interest rate, and they lower rates down to 3% or 0%, but the banks are giving you about 2.5% to 3%. What are you going to do tomorrow?
I wouldn't do anything.
Okay. A lot of people are going to go refinance their house to lower their interest rate by half, right? From 6 to 3%.
Oh, well, yes. Yes.
And then their monthly payment's going to drop drastically. And now they're going to have all this extra money to go out and buy a car and to go on another vacation and do other things with it, even though they should probably put it towards their house or into other investments. That's the inflation. It's just going to skyrocket and take off. But you have a banker husband, so he also knows every time you refinance, you basically
That's what I was just going to say. I'm thinking about what about all
more
the
interest.
if you refinance your home, you still have to pay closing costs.
You
I mean,
do.
that could be another 3,000. So when you're asking me that question, I'm thinking, okay, well, we would have to pay this and we'd pay this, and it really doesn't make sense to do this. So all of that's going through my brain because you still got to pay all
the average American does not look at everything. They look at monthly payments.
Oh, well, see, I have to look
That's what they
into
look at.
like, well, if I got this amount of interest rate, I'm gonna have to pay another three to
I saw your brain.
Okay. And I'm like, it just doesn't make sense to do so.
So West Texas Stacker said, go get 2 jobs, everybody. We're starting to get to the point where people are looking at 3 jobs. That's how bad it's getting.
Yes. And we're talking about, two income families, and we're talking, and even maybe even getting 2 jobs apiece to make ends meet. But then again, if we pay too much in taxes as it is. Sometimes it's beneficial not to get that, extra.
Well, we have 7.5% sales tax on precious metals below $2,000 in total price transaction. We have 10% state income tax. Then you've got the federal tax, and then our property tax is about 1.25% on the property tax, and our houses prices are sky high here.
Yeah.
So you to live here, you pretty much had to get in here really early, or you've basically got some extra family money, or you've got a high paying job, or you've got 2 people working. There's, it's very hard to live in the area I live in and have just a normal job. It's just not, it doesn't work out. And, everybody's always contemplating things. And as soon as I see people moving to Florida, I know they're about to sell their business. And they're hurrying to move to Florida.
Yeah,
and
there was an influx of people moving from California to Texas, and now everybody's moving to Florida. And it's like, okay, people, stop moving to Florida because you're messing it up for us snowbirds. Because I want to be a snowbird one day, and if you keep moving to Florida, that means my winter home is going to go sky high. So please stop everybody moving to Florida so I can be a snowbird. Because it was New England's first. That's our second home is Florida. So let us have it.
Well, so this brings me to another point that I bring up. A lot of people will say, why live in California? Get out of there. It's the worst place to be.
This is no bugs.
This is my home. And, it used to be a conservative Republican state. We had Ronald Reagan. We had
that was like way Highhampton Consultants way back.
I'm forgetting the other guy after Reagan.
Oh, this is a good point.
Anyway, I forget the other governor, but this state still has like 10 million people that voted for Trump in the last election, you guys. Like, that's more than a lot of other states combined. There's still a ton of conservative people here. It's just that there are
leave Cali
more. So I know, Yankee, I'm trying. I try.
So it's funny because we're like in a purple state. Half of the northern half of my state is red and the bottom part is blue, but Trump is up in the polls where they didn't think he was going to be up, and there's really not been any Republican candidate that's ever been up in the polls in Southern Maine, because Southern Maine used to be part of Massachusetts, and they still want to secede to Massachusetts, and sometimes we're like, please go.
There you go.
That one was for Heist, but still we do call them they tease. Well, they do want to break off to go to Mass.
Well, it's interesting. 2 years ago, they had on the ballot to do to basically split the state into 3 states in California. So they were going to do Northern California, then they were going to do like Los Angeles and some other area, and then there was going to be like Orange County, San Diego, and Riverside area. And it would have brought 4 more seats to the House if they did that, or to the Senate. Sorry, 4 more seats to the Senate. And it would have changed some of the power, but it would actually put people in better representation. There's a lot of people in the state of California not represented.
Jerry Brown, governor.
Yeah, I think Yankee that comes out May 1st or something like that, or maybe it's this weekend. I don't know.
Yes, I mean, my husband never wants to go to the movies, but he's excited for this one.
No.
He's
Well, here's the thing: if they keep putting what they're trying to do in these movies, that scares me. So,
well, I mean, I would think
know if I
Texas
wanna go
would
there.
win. Texas, I would think, would win over California because you guys aren't allowed to keep your guns.
no, but it's California and Texas.
Oh, okay. So
So what I'm curious about is what would get California and
Sergeant Gold.
Texas on the same side?
they're probably the Texas is defending them. Drugs.
What
Drug
drugs? You go with
Texas
it?
is protecting the drug money in California.
I'm thinking either Austin, Texas, and all the people moving to Austin, Texas have changed Texas, or there's something else that's a plot twist in that movie I don't know about yet.
The drug money. They need the money to
drug
fund the
money.
war.
I think Texas has plenty of drugs probably coming in there. It's tomorrow, okay? It comes out tomorrow.
I'm kidding.
So
I'm kidding.
Yankee's going to do a full movie review for us next week.
Oh, nice.
I'm just kidding.
He can go in there and record the movie, and then he could play it on replay it.
Yeah, probably nothing. Oh my gosh, you guys, look, it's funny. Here's what I'll say. The things that are going on today, if you were to take a snapshot of our country today and you took it back to me in 2019 and said, this is what 2024 is going to look like, I would tell you that you were a conspiracy theory nut and you're full of it. I wouldn't believe you.
And you'd be watching your Star Wars movie.
Yeah, sure. I'll be watching. We're gonna get you to watch a Star Wars movie here soon, Nick. I gotta get it set up on Zoom. We'll do a party. Like I think we can get 100 people in there
To watch Star Wars? Really?
to watch Star Wars, watching it with you. We won't charge. It'll be free.
Okay, but
charge.
the eye roll. I mean, seriously.
But we have to get the camera set up right. You have to be able to be watching the TV with the camera watching.
Because if it's goofy, I can't hold my emotion.
And then I'll probably put my TV on camera so people can watch it, what's going on, and see it. Don't do it, Nick.
I will, but I'll need a lot of snacks, and I'll need breaks to be able to get up if I'm bored. Because I don't just sit good and watch a movie. But I've kept you for an hour, so we were on a strict time limit.
That's great. So I want to thank everybody for coming out. Just a quick reminder: I've got a live stream at 2:00 Eastern. What is it? I think that's 11 o'clock Pacific on Monday, the 15th on tax day with Andy Scheckman. If you've got any questions, which would be great, go ahead and forward those to me ahead of time. I'm going to be kind of going through those. Those will be the questions we'll be asking. I don't know that we're going to have a lot of time to go through the chat and get questions from there.
So,
but go ahead and email me at stackingsurfer@gmail.com and we'll get set up for that. It should be a good time.
And tonight I'll be on the Coin Tribe channel from 8 to 9. Yes.
Okay.
So Coin Tribe channel tonight.
And then I don't know if Yankee probably has a live going on tonight as well. It is
what time does he usually start? East Coast time, because most of us are East Coast.
I think it's around 5 o'clock. So I think it's 5 o'clock Pacific. So I think it's 8 o'clock.
Okay.
So look out for Yankee tonight. I think he's got a live going on as well. And then Silver Heist, we'd love to have you on again if you're up for it. We got a few of these too, by the way.
Oh my gosh. And we've got to do a giveaway. We'll put some silver in there in the boxes as well. We'll put some goodies in there.
Yeah, should we throw this in there? Would that be a fun?
Can I win it?
My wife would kill me.
Well, what happens on YouTube stays on YouTube.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I maybe one of these days it would be fun to have enough coming in from the channel. We can do a fun surprise like that. Okay, let's see. Last thing from Yankee. Retail analysis says Costco is selling up to 200 million worth of gold and silver each month.
We're in the wrong business.
It is huge, guys. Look, last thing I want to make on there, and I think I might do a video on this too. What does it tell you if Costco's gone from 100 to 200 in like in a 2 to 3 month period of time? That is ramping up. I wonder if they're going to get to the point where they start doing 300.
It's a lot of money, and it's gone up. I mean,
it is, and people are buying the stuff up, and they're always sold out. So, all right, Nick. Well, we got to call it a night, but I want to thank everybody for coming.
Thank you for joining us.
Are we on next Tuesday, Nick? Are we going to do Thursday? Do we know what day we're going to do it yet?
No, or do you?
No, okay, so
We'll
stay
get
tuned.
we'll post it because we're trying to find a little bit more convenient. Tuesdays is at 9. It's a little bit late for
Yeah,
me.
we're gonna
having
find a
to
better
work.
time
Yeah.
for us to do it, guys, and we'll keep you posted.
Okay.
All right.
Thanks. Bye.
Thanks, guys.